yeah, it feels like kind of a whirlwind the first week. I arrived and then I started school, I think, a day or two later. So I would say, yeah, it was really exciting to meet all the students. I think especially being in a smaller town, a lot of the other teachers were very welcoming and like invited me to their homes for 8 hours to hang out. Or I think people were very surprised that I was there. Like, what are you doing in Zlatý Moravce? So yeah, I felt very welcome right off the bat, which I wasn't sure about. I thought maybe it would take a little bit longer to get to know people or connect with the community. But yeah, just in the first week, connected a lot with the other teachers, and then also meeting the students was really exciting. They had a lot of questions for me. I think most of them had not met an American before, but a lot of them also had not met a foreigner before. So they had a lot of very interesting questions just for me, which was interesting. But yeah, that was a thing where like in the US, you just say like, hi, how are you? And it's just a greeting. But my first week was like, oh, hi guys, how are you? And they would stop and say, it's actually been a very difficult day, and tell me like how they're actually doing. And I was like,
I arrived one day before the Pope actually came to my city. So nothing at my university was open. I mean, the housing office, we had to run from office to office to office, finding someone who could process my paperwork. And then the next day, I actually was kicked out of my dorm because they were using the dormitory as a sniper's nest or a sniping post for guards for the Pope. So that was definitely a unique experience. I thought it would be my craziest experience in Slovakia. But that was my first day. That was my first week. It was very exciting. I'm very happy. I got to see everything. I got to see this historic moment. You were able to see something special that I will never see again.
The first days and the first weeks here in Slovakia were a lesson in adaptability, just because I didn't speak the language. I didn't really understand the school calendar or my schedule of activities and lessons. And so it was a bit challenging to adapt to this new environment in which I didn't always know what was going on. I had to be communicated, or things had to be communicated to me through my host teacher, and I had to adapt to completely new people with names that I often didn't recognize, and also to lunches that lasted for at least 5 hours. And so it was definitely a lesson in adaptability, and that I had to try to be flexible and not schedule too many things, just so that I could take each thing one day at a time and one activity at a time. But I think I've, gotten much more comfortable being in this environment as a result of those first few hectic days and weeks.
I remember the excitement of being in a new place and knowing you're going to be there for 5-6 months. It's always kind of, you feel you're not in a rush to sort of rush through and see the highlights and move on. You want to, find out where the grocery store, how you get your hair cut, where the trams go. We spent a few weekends really mastering the trains to make sure we could leave Bratislava and, tour the country.
Yeah, I think my arrival to Slovakia was pretty epic, and I feel like pretty formative for how the rest of my experience went. I flew into Prague and then took a train, and when I was getting off the train, the doors opened and there were just so many people waiting to get on, and I had 2 50-pound suitcases, a backpack, my little Bratislava bag, and a guitar. And I am very petite, and so I wasn't sure how I was gonna navigate this, and so I was just kind of standing there totally helpless as all these people were just yelling at me in Slovak to get off the train. And then these 2 women at the front of the line, they didn't say anything to me. They just reached over and with one arm pulled my 50-pound suitcases off of the train and just placed them on the floor of the train station, and then they just boarded the train. And I felt like that was a really good omen, and that people were just gonna help me and not really need anything from it. So my first weeks were nice. I went to school almost immediately actually to do an orientation type thing, and I got to meet the other teachers. And I really lucked out because there's another American who teaches at my school who did the Fulbright 2 years ago, and then fell in love, and so she now lives here. So that has also made my experience way easier because I have an American with me all day, every day, who knows exactly what I've done.